How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is RUFFLEDLIVE, and welcome back to a brand new video, guys. Today, we're going to be taking a look at some Pokemon rumors and leaks that have popped up in recent hours. So, let's get started right away. First things first is going to be this post right here from Centro, who pretty much listed together a bunch of the recent information we've received. So, let's go through it and see what he's talking about, because it's quite a bit of a long post. So, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet leaks, part 15. There are 14 Paradox Pokemon. 7 in Violet, aka past forms, and 7 in Scarlet, aka future forms. That's not counting Suicune and Virizion, which could be saved for DLC. So that's the first thing you have to keep in mind, is that this number is inconclusive. We don't really know if this is the complete final number. This is just the number we have as of right now, and what we know as of right now. So, yeah, you know what I mean? It is what it is. So, nonetheless, we continue on down further, which is, that's not counting the Suicune and Virizion. We talked about this in yesterday's video, but apparently Suicune and Virizion are going to be getting forms, or, these future past Paradox forms. Now, what do we know about this? Well, we already know that it was told to us that a Pokemon from Generation 2 is going to be in one game, and Pokemon from Generation 5 is going to be in the other game, more or less. And I guess it fits perfectly that, Suicune might be for the past, and Virizion may be for the future, or vice versa, to be kind of the inverse of how one region is more futuristic, that being Generation 5's Unova, is a more futuristic region with more, like, high-tech stuff, whereas Johto is more of a, kind of a old-school, more traditional type of, region with its design and everything, and, is generally an older region, I would argue, as well. So, that's one of the first things. But, of course, we don't know if they're going to be here, or if they're going to be only present in the DLC. Either way, that's also not counting Koraidon and Miraidon, that are technically also Paradox Pokemon, which is essentially a fact. Those two are kind of the first hints we get of what Paradox Pokemon look like, right? Koraidon and Miraidon are basically the perfect interpretation of, a future version, an old version of essentially a creature that is the same, but not at the same time. I've said this before, it's how you can take real-life today's tigers and compare them to saber-toothed tigers from, like, ancient, times, and you compare those two, and you realize that, yes, they're both tigers, but they are not the same animal. They're clearly not the same. They share name, they share biology and stuff like that, but they're very, very, very different. They're two different things. And that's the same principle here. Koraidon and Miraidon, they share similarities. They share maybe even origin, but they are not the same thing. They share even possibly, DNA, but they're not the same thing. Koraidon and Miraidon can be considered past and future Paradox Pokemon of a new bike Pokemon. Now, what that new bike Pokemon is going to be, we don't really know. Again, this info is coming to us, I think, from the other leaker, Kaka. I think that's where he's getting this information from. So keep in mind that info can be a little bit hit or miss in terms of what it says. So I wouldn't, trust it 100%. It might be a little bit 50-50 in terms of what it says. Now, the full list of Paradox Pokemon is as follows, I guess. First, the codename hints, then what we think the Pokemon is based on. So for the past Scarlet, we have a Boss A, which is possibly Donphan, Moth, which is possibly Volcarona, Mushroom, which is Amoonguss, which is confirmed. We've already seen the gameplay image of that. And then we have Mag, which I'm not sure what that is. Then we have this letter, which is most likely for Salamence. We have Balloon, which fits well, I guess, with Jigglypuff. Wizard, which we saw actually today. That was, I think, one of the things posted today as well, which is for Mischievous, and S for Suicune at the end. So that's for the future versions. We have Boss B, which is also Donphan. So I guess a Donphan version that's going to be both, for, I guess, both sides, I guess, for past and future, which is interesting. Same thing with Volcarona, is going to be having a, I guess, future and past form as well in this case, which is for the Moth. Then Pigtails, whatever that might be. Sumo for Hariyama, whatever this letter is in this letter, not sure what those relate to. And then Santa for Delibird, and V for Virizion. We're missing future Tyranitar here somewhere, so that's that. Update, that letter actually is Tyranitar, and Pigtails is Gallade. We're only missing the other character for Chicken, and Mag could potentially be Magnezone, and C could be referring to Goodra in that case right there, which I think would be weird if Goodra was already getting even another form. It just had one in Galar, right? We had, like, Galari and, Goodra and whatnot, so it feels a bit weird to give it another one, because I'm gonna be honest, Galari and Goodra was kind of lame to me, but, I mean, hey, it would be a bit odd if they decided to do that. So, nonetheless, it's a general idea of what we should be looking at when it comes to the Paradox Pokemon themselves, right? Just a general idea what you should expect, what you should be looking for, and what you see in front of yourself, well, is this. So, what are you guys' thoughts? Let me know in the comment section down below on this one, and let's move on to the next one, which is this right here from Centro, which says, apparently this angry face in the Terrastall forms is related to the third legendary. Now, it's confusing because, like, Kaka, the leaker, was first saying there is no third legendary, and then now I think it's been changed that there is one, so it's a bit confusing on what the deal is here. But they said that apparently the Anger Face is the Terrastall forms is related to the third legendary. The third legendary and its story will be saved for the DLC, so it seems like the base game will not fully explain the Terrastall phenomenon, which is unfortunate if true. I don't think it's fair that we should have to buy DLC to see the end of the game and the end of the story. I think that's actually kind of ridiculous, or like to get, you know, a conclusion to like something that's in the base game. It seems a bit dumb that you would have to get a DLC for that. I personally am totally against that. I think it's stupid. I think it's dumb, though I still want to know what this thing is. And of course, I mean, you know, in some way, I guess you don't even need to play the DLC to get the answer, because there'll be enough videos on YouTube about it. But I do still think it is a bit shitty. I'm not gonna lie. If that is the case, we won't even get a conclusion there. So, yeah, I don't know. Somebody's asking, oh, no, we already got the DLC confirmed. And he says, yes, months ago, which, yeah, we pretty much already knew that we're gonna get DLC. Now, is it gonna be Kalos? No. It's not going to be Kalos DLC. Please don't expect that. Please don't put your you know, your hopes high or whatever that it's going to be Kalos DLC. It just won't happen, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, you need to realize they have no reason to put Kalos in this game. It's just dumb and wasteful for them. They're not going to do that. So don't expect that, please. I'm just telling you this so you don't get your hopes up that you're going to be seeing DLC of like Kalos, whatever. Most likely a DLC will be based on some other parts of Spain, maybe the Canaries, maybe like, you know, Madeira or something like that, like one of the islands around, something along those lines, or even Andorra would be more logical, I guess, in my opinion, that they would base it on instead, or even, I guess, you know, a whole separate thing, you know, based somewhat on Gibraltar. I mean, they could literally go to any of the possible things around them that are related to both Portugal and Spain, rather than going directly for, like, the, you know, a previous existing region, because they're not gonna, if they do anything Kalos related, which is, like, basically a 0.0001% chance of happening, it most likely would be a small little, like, mini thing that has not barely connected to Kalos, but it'll not have to do with the whole region of Kalos. They're never going to give you a whole second region as a DLC. That just hasn't happened, and it will never happen, because it's just not worth it. They've seen that they can just, with the Crown Tundra and Isle of Armor, make a little zone, and that's enough, right? I think the Crown Tundra was great. I think it just did a good enough job that, you know, as a DLC, that was in some way, in my opinion, worth it. I think the Isle of Armor was bringing it down, and it wasn't that good, but the Crown Tundra kind of made up for it. But nonetheless, it is what it is. So we move on to the next thing, which is this post right here. Also from Center saying, by the way, with the Poison Flower, we meant this, ignoring the Terrastall Skull, it apparently is related to the Salt Pokemon. So Salt Pokemon is something we talked about before. This is the CUSO4 Pokemon, which has been hinted by, I think, Riddleku, as well as, I guess, Kaka as well. Basically, it's a Pokemon based on some kind of compound or some kind of salt Pokemon that may or may not be crafted together, but apparently, what we see right here, is related to the Salt Pokemon, this image. It's not clear what it is just yet, but Salt is just a code name. So yeah, I don't really know much about this one. Again, my thoughts were just kind of like a little bit hindered. I don't really have much to say or add, but it is what it is. Moving on to the next thing, which is also the following here information about specifically this, which is that the new Salt Pokemon can also be related to flowers. It's a 2-stage Pokemon with poison typing. For the new Fire Pokemon with split version exclusive evolutions, I guess it's going to have a split version Evos. The Fire Warrior is in Scarlet, and the Fire Blade is in Violet. This is something we talked about yesterday as well, that there's going to be a Pokemon in this game that's going to be a Warrior, but it's going to have split Evos. And apparently, the Warrior version of it is going to be in Scarlet, and the Blade version of it is going to be in Violet, which I'm personally, hey, I'm happy, dude. Scarlet's getting the Warrior version. I'm pretty much more excited for the Warrior version than I am for the Violet version. But yeah, what do you guys think about that? You know, just a bit of more context on this whole, like, previous thing about the Poison Pokemon with the Salt code name. Again, apparently it's going to have, you know, 2 stages to it, so we'll see how it looks like and what the deal is with it. I mean, it's basically based on some compound, some salt, so we'll see what that actually looks like once we get to that point. Also, we already talked about this yesterday, but I do want to add this again, that there is no new, like, there is a new Plasma Electric Frog Pokemon, and it stands on 2 legs. That's something we learned about yesterday. What that's going to look like, I do not know. That's very much an enigma right now, that we do not, like, have an answer for. I do think it's been possibly a little bit hinted by Riddleku, but I could be totally off base here by saying that. But I think it's already been a bit hinted by him. There's no diving in this game, by the way, which you already know. And there's a new way to battle related to wild Pokemon, but the leaker won't give more details on this. So we don't know exactly what that means, that there is a new method of battling. No clue what the context is behind it, but it is what it is. Moving on to the next thing, which is this right here. So this is coming to us from Soul Silver, who says explains the face of the base of the Terra ornament. So what are you talking about? Well, basically, we have like this post right here, which is, you know, Pokesutami translating one of the Kaka leaks, saying, K translation, regarding a third legendary, the details are undecided, maybe in DLC, and he says, explains the face on the base of the Terra ornament. So that's the little thingy that we spoke about earlier. That's basically, you know, Riddler-Ku, a legitimate leaker, basically confirming that this is related to the third legendary that most likely will be in DLC. So we'll see how that actually turns out, but I am intrigued to see how this is going to lead to and what this is going to be like. So move on to the next subject, which in this case is going to be from Soul again, saying Kaka riddles, Ku leaks, Ku riddles, Kaka leaks. Basically what he's talking about here is that Zodiac Cooler or Riddler-Ku basically came out and said, and no need to guess that type stuff, Black Bull, Red Bull, and Blue Bull. And what is he talking about here? Basically, the typings of the, I guess, if you want to say it, like the regional forms of Tauros in this case. So basically, we know what the actual, like, you know, regional forms of it are going to be, and it seems like we might possibly have ourselves a, you know, a possible, I guess, a Black Bull, which might be a Dark typing, a Red Bull, which might be Fire typing, or Fighting typing, and a Blue Bull that might be Water typing, most likely, I would argue, just with that, you know, color scheme. It seems like water type fits the best. So yeah, it seems like that's what's going to be happening with the bulls. We now know the colors of all of them, black, red, and blue. If you are Spanish by any chance, or if you live in Spain and you have a little bit of context for this, is there an actual relation between bulls and these specific colors? I mean, I get that like black bulls are like the standard kind of, you know, color of most like bulls, and you know, that's the ones that we kind of like, you know, see often portrayed in, you know, when matadors are kind of, you know, doing that stuff with them. Red Bull is a little bit like, well, on the nose because it's literally a drink, but also Red Bull is just, you know, it makes sense with the, you know, color red that's used, like that's stereotypically used to make them aggressive, which I don't even think that's based in any truth, that like, you know, that red is a color that they actually get angry at. I think that's just something, some mumbo jumbo that was made up. But nonetheless, the Blue Bull, though, is the one that I'm a bit confused about. I don't see in what way this one is connected to, well, really anything, to be honest. I don't see its connection. I don't see its relationship to any of the previous stuff we talked about. So your guys' thoughts and opinions would be appreciated on this one. But nonetheless, if you guys know what, you know, any connection to this, any historical facts, anything like that, let us know in the comment section down below, or message me on Twitter or message me on Discord. I'm willing to look at what you guys have to say and just learn more about this kind of stuff. So if you guys have any thoughts on this, send it my way. Nonetheless, the next thing here is also from Soul Silver, if it can load. And he says, after processing the Pokemon Presents for over a week already, I just wanted to give some of my dumb opinions on it. Finally, codenames are more than codenames. Overall, this image sums it up. I hate the crowns, but the gimmick sounds amazing on paper. So, basically, he says, it was a really good present, and I'm so freaking excited with these games, but I still wasn't quite enough. Not for the wait. It wasn't, if this was a trailer in July, then, you know, amazing, but we had one 3-minute trailer since Scarlet and Violet was revealed in February, and I was okay with waiting until June. After that, expecting some info every month doesn't seem like much to ask, though I do understand we already had a mainline game this same year, so a year's worth of wait is what we normally have gotten. Compared to that, 4 months isn't so bad, but waiting wasn't the issue. It's more about the content. I've said many times that my favorite thing and top priority with Pokemon are the Pokemon themselves, so I was greatly disappointed that we only got 2 new ones and one of literally 2 regional forms. At the same time, I have to say that Titan is fantastic, and really, it and Miraidon are the only Pokemon I like so far. Why reveal so few in the span of 4 months? Which I agree, it is a bit shitty that they haven't revealed more of them. So this is more or less Soul kind of going in the same issue that I've had, which is, you know, it's not like that they have to put out like 500 trailers, you know what I mean? But the fact that even what's in the trailers, like I do think that this recent trailer was good, right? But that trailer should have been out, as he mentioned, in July. That trailer should have already been out then. We shouldn't have waited this long. And in true, you know, logic here, we still don't know enough about this game. We've seen the map now, so we have a general idea what we're going to be doing. We know there's going to be 3 split stories, but at the end of the day, we still don't have full context of this game, and also a lack of knowledge on how many new Pokemon are going to be in here. How many new Pokemon are we going to be able to catch? We're going to be able to, like, see that kind of stuff. There still needs to be a lot, you know, explained. So I do agree with that sentiment, but there is a chance we might get some news next week because the Pokemon World Championship is starting, and they're going to be having a 20-minute, you know, opening segment where they might show off some new gameplay for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, possibly, and also there might be a demo at PAX West in America. There might be a demo at PAX West that will be playable, which means we'll be finally able to see actual proper gameplay of Scarlet and Violet, which is quite exciting. So, we're gonna have to wait and see how that turns out. Nonetheless, we move on to the next thing, which is Pokemon Gen 9 feels like Gen 7. So, what does he go into here? Well, he's talking about, I guess, the legendaries and stuff like that. But he says, Part 1, maybe it's an odd number generation thing. There will be many parts to this series. Might be a long time until Part 2, just waiting for official reveals, or maybe for Kaka to leak it all. But what does he talk about? Basically, somebody posted saying, so the next 4 sub-legendaries will be 4 dark types. So dark fire, dark grass, dark ground, dark ice. So basically, they're kind of making the connection that all of them have kind of been going in this order, right? The flying, the fighting, the fairy, and now the dark is the next one, right? So, you know, I guess dark fire, dark grass, dark, rock, and dark ice, possibly, in terms of the typings of these guys. Of course, we'll have to wait and see if that actually is the case. But, making the connection Gen 7, I don't know. I mean, I guess if you kind of lined them up like this, it is correct, but nonetheless, I don't really know, man. And I do think Lumia says, comes into which is, to me, Gen 9 feels most like black and white, but I do get the sun and moon vibes too, especially with the sci-fi elements in Pokemon. Now they just need to make like Gen 5 and bring back my triple and rotation battles, which would be cool. I mean, we were told that there is some sort of new, like some sort of gameplay, like mechanic, some sort of battle mechanic that will be available in this game that we have yet to see. So there is something, that's something that Kaka did tell us. There will be some sort of mechanic that isn't yet been revealed, so we'll have to wait and see what that deal is with that. Now, he says the following. I've seen this question everywhere lately, so I want to know from you. How do you define a regional bird, regional, I guess, bug, or a rodent? For me, it's really just that they are a 3-stage early game Pokemon. The thing is, as far as we know, there's no early roots in this game, so that leaves our regional bird Pokemon, Pokemon, with one definition in my mind, a 3-stage line based on a bird, a bug, and a rodent. But aren't those just normal Pokemon lines then? I think the nature of Scarlet and Violet's open world may redefine some of what we have in our minds about Pokemon games. Maybe. Let me reiterate. As far as we know, from the moment you gain access to the full open world, you can do any gym in any order, and you can go anywhere on the map right away. To me, there is no first area or early area. Correction. Regional rodents are actually usually 2 stages. I'll kind of lump them all together. But yeah, fair enough. Nonetheless, I do wonder how that's going to actually work. I do still think they are doing the regional bird, the regional rodent, stuff like that. Just because it's open world, I don't think they're going to be removing that aspect. I think, like, to them, it's just in their brain that, oh, this is the regional bird, but, like, associating the regional bird to the starting area doesn't have to be necessary. I mean, sure, actually, we might literally see it in the starting area, because I'm going to tell you something now. The first hour or 2 of this game, in my personal opinion, will 100% still be hand-holding you and not letting you roam freely, okay? I'm pretty sure that still the first hour or so, maybe even the first 2 hours of this game, are still going to hold your hand and force you to play the way the game wants you to play and not let you have the freedom to explore and run around and do whatever the hell you want. That's not going to be the case. I think you're still going to be forced to go down a certain set path and do exactly what the game tells you, even if you don't want to. Nonetheless. So, again, that's my thoughts on that. And finally, we have a theory from Pokemon FM which says, Theory time. President is probably the champion since he has 6 Pokemon. So, yeah, the actual professor, or, I guess not professor, but the president of, like, the school or whatever, or the headmaster, right? The principal. Basically does have 6 Pokeballs, Premier Balls, I think, literally around his, like, waist. And the following it says here is, so he has 6 Pokemon, but also, since there is a champion rank system, he'll be the one running the tests. And when you complete the test, you will enter, you would either battle him, or the person who completed the test before you, which may be Nimona in this case, right? Which I actually do think is a logical theory. I do think it fits as well. So, in my personal opinion, dude, I think it actually makes sense. Though Shining Star says, I guess that's what Kaka means by there being a male and female champion. Exactly. That is the point I'm making. It's the theory until confirmed, though. So, I don't know, man. At the end of the day, I do think it's kind of curious that he does have 6 Pokeballs right around his waist. I mean, he's definitely a battler. You can kind of tell he's going to be battling you for sure, man. And I do think that, like, he does give off kind of that bit of an evilish vibe. So, him being the champion and being an evil champion almost. I mean, at the end of the day, this game doesn't really even have actual champions, technically. It's what you do is, like, academic tests. Think Gen 7, I guess, which actually perfectly connects what Soul said. This game is more like Gen 7 than it is like Generation 8 and them, because even in Generation 8, you technically have a champion, right? You have Leon. Generation 7, though, there is no champion, technically. I mean, technically, there is no actual champion. I mean, you can argue, like, oh, yeah, but technically, this person, that person, you are the champion. Whatever. My point is, if you look at every generation, you can kind of be like, okay, so Gen 1, it's, what's his name? Freaking Lance, right? Gen 2, it's also Lance. Generation 3, like, the champion would be, I guess, what is it? Like, Steven, depending on the game you're playing, right? So Generation 3 will be Steven. Generation 4, obviously Cynthia. Generation 5, Iris, etc. You know, so on and so forth. Like, you can kind of, like, put a, you know, a champion to each game and each generation. Gen 7 is one where you can barely do that. And I would argue same thing goes for Generation 9. I feel like we're probably not going to be able to, you know, pick one out, especially because the game literally tells you you're not going to be becoming the champion. You're becoming a champion, right? So you get the difference? The champion means you're the only champion. A champion is different. That means you are one champion of many possible ones in the Paldea region. You're not exclusive to that. You get what I mean? Like, that's kind of the gist of it. So if you guys kind of get it or don't get it, let me know. But yeah, your guys' thoughts and opinions will be appreciated. That's going to be it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. So tomorrow we're going to be dropping a video breaking down the full Pokedex so far and everything we know about it from all the leaked Pokemon and the full details on that. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a long video tomorrow, so make sure you stay tuned for that, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out and bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen.